I like doing this. It doesn't show my face though very well, huh? Okay, that's good enough. And then we'll repeat that other process, right? Haven't done this before, so. Yeah. Something big is about to happen. Perhaps we'll see which bone the dog digs back up and or buries today. Meanwhile, because waiting may be tantalizing as the hardest part, perhaps some of us will rummage around the junk drawer to reach out for some kind of placeholder to work with while we anticipate what bone the dog may bring back from the yard. A sense of humor within our inner funny bone can be so bloody serious. It may be all a body can do to laugh it up, with saving grace for joy behind a poker face. And to sum it up, facing the music may never have looked so appetizingly good to those who are working up to letting go. So yeah, one doesn't have to stay. Howsoever, steer positive and more than vibe, share when and if, when, where, and how makes any sense. We can hold the mystique of why for our future's sakes, whether we like it or not. And if you hang out past futures now, we've gathered narrative here for a bedtime fitting for snug on story that may entail curious reflections on into your shimmering dreamscapes. You may have a curation of as awareness returns to navigating your full-bodied sensual capacities. And so, the words flow for any who've chosen to ride up front to center on my voiced horse grip of mane to tail and follow. Last I caught wind regarding the Telosians, 1,200 populating occupants of Telos nestled within the mountain, were made to flee north into Western Canada due to an incursion of Luciferian agents sent from the Vatican that commandeered and took over the stronghold clear back in the early 90s, or was it the 80s? I know this to be true due to an insider who met with a Telosian during his childhood, who had come down into town of Shasta in an off-white plain robe and traded in pure gold for various items from a local hardware store back in the late 40s or early 50s. There is more I would share, but I prefer the power mystique lends me, which, it so happens, I have tentative plans to put to use at sequestering the Amethyst main-chambered stronghold for use in benefiting an uptick for quality of life for all species the world over, and simultaneously the sovereignty of its original occupants, coupled with indigenous outsiders, as worthy of being guardians of stewarding of the surrounding lands. Lend your prayers to this plight, my fellow adventurer, and beyond doubt, our hope may be restored in good measure for our species. We'll be moving ahead of nefarious narratives, all in timely checking placements and natures. P.S. As an additive of curious interest to the subject matter here, 1. I want to caution others here from venturing forth harboring purpose to gain entry therein, even if with a group, as there are many native stories dating back long before European settlers. Stories in which native peoples would go missing after venturing into the forests surrounding the mountain, never to be heard from again, nor be returned to their local tribespeople. And 2, though I will not disclose the location of its proximity to Shasta, save it be at an extension of many, many miles, nor road I was camped on, a hillock above, about 2 or 3 to 500 feet up, I don't know, it looked pretty far down there, but not that far. 2 to 300 is a good guess. I awoke and sat up from my frost-bitten sleeping bag, without rhyme or reason, to look down on the road below at approximately 3 a.m. in the morning or so. And there, across the road, was a fenced area I could make out in the dark, behind which arose a hill not so tall as mine, with large boulder-like rock outcroppings. As I sat there, an astonishing run of events unfolded before my eyes. First, the rock outcropping moved about in such a way that it took on the visage of an enormous dragon's head. I know this likely reads quite obscure, but what I watched happen was real as day, as you shall see from what my words will have you to imagine. Just behind this dragon's head was another longer boulder that did not move, but all of a sudden seemed like it was one of this enormous dragon's forepaws reaching out of the earthen hillside. As I was taking notice of this new visage, the head moved again, this time as if opening its cavernous jaws, exposing a black tunneling maw leading back and within. As this was happening, the backside of the fenced-off area slid to the side, no doubt automated by remote control, and I shut you not to believe a semi-truck pulling a full trailer exited the maw of the dragon's mouth and entered the fenced area. It wasn't until the dragon head had moved back to looking like a mere outcropping of bouldering rock, and the backside of the automated fence had closed off the hillside behind the fenced area, that the semi's headlights lit up. It sat there idling in place for about 10 minutes, under a ring of about 4 to 8 bright streetlight lights fixed to the corners and midsections of the fenced area, and had turned on once the fence had closed and the truck's headlights had come on. Then, abruptly, the truck lurched forwards, and the fence nearest the road slid out of its way, and it exited the fenced area. And as the automatic sliding gate closed behind it, and its lighting went visually silent, I watched the semi-truck and trailer picking up speed down an on-ramping diagonal merge with the road it fed the truck into. Moments later, all was quiet and dark under the vibrant stars of a super deep navy blue night sky. Not a car on the road below for many minutes as I stared back and forth from the moonless stars above down to the empty fenced area across the road below. It was a mind-boggling experience, to say the least, in which time I pondered what otherworldly cargo could have been on that truck. It was before Jane was legal, so I thought it could have been that. But since I had been informed of the Luciferian takeover prior to this witnessing event, my mind meandered into a more skin-crawling run of thoughts about what not only heard about, but experienced myself in regards to clone bodily transference projects perpetrated upon those held captive in specific frequency of deep sleep that facilitates these experimentally controlled implants amidst society. Please don't ask me what they do with the original bodies of those cloned. Their clone technology is beyond me, as I work more comfortably with the supernatural than their controlled superstitions the consensus accepts as sciences. They can put entire areas of city, and definitely whole small towns, to slumber into this stupefying specific delta wavelength of super subconscious hyperstasis. Anyways, it was cold, as I said near the beginning, so maybe I hallucinated it all. One thing's for sure. It took me a while to get back to sleep in that starlit dark before dawn, which I missed, and as it happens, awoke around 11 a.m., thawed and warmed by the sun. All right. Thank you.